Hello, everybody. Today is gonna be a little bit more on the darker side of things, and I feel that we should talk about the darker side of things because I believe recently there has been, as many of you know, that there's been a suicide near with my family and friends. That one of their sons has decided to commit suicide, and I want to share with you my experience with suicide and my drug abuse, and I have this planned out on what I want to say, and I want to make this video because I want the truth to be heard. And the people around me know this story of my near-death experience, my drug abuse, and I want people to know why this happens in the first place, why somebody would go to drugs. It's like, duh, but I want to give you a real intimate experience on what led up to my overdose. So let's just get to the truth. In the past, I've overdosed before twice because of whatever reason. We'll get to it. Today, I want to share with you the more intimate stories and the reasons why I did a lot of drugs, why I did them in the first place, how I got to them, and what was my mindset that led me to this, so that your children, your friends, don't have to want to commit suicide or don't have to even contemplate suicide. And when I hear a suicide happen, I just feel like, oh, well, we have work to do and we have to continue speaking the truth when it's hard. So, okay, my near-death experience, what led up to the overdose? So I have this thing, 7 things that happened that led to my overdose. So I'm gonna read them out loud. Number 1 was I was in a deep heartbreak. I got my heart felt broken. I was overworking 6 days a week, and I was working the whole day. That's number 2. Number 3, and I'm gonna get more into details of this, okay? I lack self-time. Like, I wasn't giving myself self-time to love myself, to go do things I wanna do. I was just working, and I was pretty much in numbness. I lack emotional support because my family, we didn't have good communication on whatever. I'll get more into that. I was lacking goals and confidence, and that was number 5. Number 6 is feeling not good enoughness, like feeling not good enough consistently throughout my life. Because my sister was like this perfect student, perfect A, and then I was kind of like the other kid that didn't really, that like, oh, I was handsome or whatever, but like I didn't feel valued. And the number 7 was a big one for me. I just consistently failed at things my parents wanted me to do. Like, I just sucked at all the things my parents wanted me to do. Like, whatever you want, I was just failing. So let's just start with 1. I want to get in depth with this so that we can have some insight on everything. So number 1 was my heart was broken. And when I say that, I was in a long distance relationship, and this person decided, it was hard to make the long distance work, especially when I can't even make time for myself. Making time for a relationship was even harder. So this long distance was more of an emotional codependency, where knowing that I had someone to love and knowing that somebody loved me from a distance made me feel something, but the commitment wasn't strong because my self-commitment was not strong. The commitment in the relationship was weak because all we had was phone, and it wasn't enough. And this was a 3-year experience, like the relationship. And when I got my heart broken, I didn't know. I told myself that I'll be fine. I just have to face it, that I'm gonna be okay. But I didn't tell anybody. and deep down, whenever you feel heartbroken, you're not emotionally okay. You're like, I'm fucked up, but I'm gonna still pretend like everything is okay so that I don't have to face it. And so all of that just allowed me to really numb myself. So I was numbing by blocking, like I was pretending that I wasn't hurt because I'm a man. I gotta be strong and I don't need to express how I feel. And I found different ways to deal with it, and a lot of it was alcohol. At first it was alcohol and racing and buying people alcohol. So the heartbreak started this cycle of suffering. And during the heartbreak season, I was overworking. I was working at a restaurant somewhere, I'm not gonna say the details, 6 days a week, 12 hours. Like I was working basically all day because it was so far, it was a distance to drive there, that for 6 days a week, I was just working. And you know, me being programmed as a, you know, my parents have programmed me to that the more that working is good. The more you work, the better. And so I didn't know I could push the boundaries of overworking until I did it. And so whenever I just didn't know better, because instead of facing my emotions, let me just work some more. And imagine you being like, I was just in such a depressing place that I didn't want to face that I was sad, so I just kept working. And I didn't know to, like every time they asked me if I wanted to work more, I just kept saying yes because I didn't want to go to college. And I went to college before, but dropped out and tried to go back, and we'll get more of that. And the lack of self-time. When you have 1 day off a week, it makes you feel like shit. When you only have 1 day off from your life, like 1 day to do you, it makes you numb. It makes you just think that you're like, it makes you feel like it's okay to be a robot. But like, I got so numb that I just didn't know what to do. And so this is where the drugs started coming in. I started going out and I started hanging out with more alcoholic friends or people who are drinking and partying, drinking shots. And I didn't get into the drugs early on, but the more I spent my time drinking, the more I met the darker side of things. And yeah, and whenever I didn't even have time to do laundry. Like it just was a chore. All I did was, I just did my work clothes laundry, and my room was just full of clothes. Like I had enough clothes to go for a whole month. So my room was just clothes everywhere. And God, I took a photo one time, and I looked back at my old room, how it was. I just couldn't believe how I was living. The lack of emotional support, okay? In this situation, whenever I was in depression, I didn't want to talk to many people. Because when you're depressed, you don't want anybody to see you. When you're sad, you don't want people to see you, because then you'd have to face it. And instead of facing my sadness, I just work. Gosh. So instead of getting emotional support, I just hid, because I was ashamed that I was being sad. And the more I hid my sadness and depression, the more alcohol I needed. Like every time I went out, I would have to take a shot or two. And then every day, and then once I started doing drugs, the emotional support actually came from the drugs. The emotional support came from the alcohol, because I didn't feel I had any grounded, like I didn't even know what grounded was. I just didn't feel supported. But what made me feel good was numbing. So doing alcohol, drinking alcohol, going to the clubs, dancing, numbing, so I don't have to face that I'm depressed. I just kept doing it over and over. And once I got to the drug called Ecstasy, I found my happy pill, like something that gave me euphoria. And when I chased that euphoria, I spiraled, which we'll get more into that part about that. What the next two things are something really big that I want you to realize how much it has affected me in the past. It's called feeling not good enough and consistently failing. I just never felt good enough for my parents. Like, my parents wanted me to be doctor, lawyer. They wanted me to do the societal norm, fit in college. And like, my heart wanted to be doing something hands-on other than college, but I just felt so pressured that I did those things even though I didn't want to. And when I did those things when I went to college not wanting to go, I failed. I failed many times. And so every time I failed, I kept feeling not good enough. And every time I feel not good enough, I failed. So it was a cycle of like going to college, because that's what everyone does, fucking up in college, and then feeling not good enough, and then trying to go to college again and failing because I was doing what my parents wanted me to, and I didn't know I had other options. And the other feeling of not good enough is I thought I was ugly. I thought I was short. I thought I was not handsome. I thought it was all like before getting to this point, I just never fitted into society. I tried my best to, but whenever you feel not good enough ever since you're young, when I felt that way, I just felt I didn't have value on this planet. I just feel like, why am I here? Like, why am I here on this planet if I don't even feel worthy of being here? And so I thought I was gonna die young ever since I was young. Like, I just thought I was just gonna die at a young age. And because I had the reasons why I didn't feel good enough, because I got picked on at a young age. All these things that built up that I could never make. I couldn't even get a girlfriend. I couldn't do a lot of things. I'm not smart. I didn't have talents. I didn't have passions. I didn't have any confidence. And then I literally, like, the failing part add on to it. The first time I failed was when I got picked on in 6th grade in middle school in algebra class, and I just felt like, I failed, you know, and it makes you feel like traumatic, because I didn't even fail because I couldn't do it. I failed because I got picked on and I didn't feel protected. And then failing again in high school in one class because I just didn't give a shit. And then once I got to college, I went for 2 semesters and I tried to make it happen. But one semester I signed up for 3 classes and I just decided, fuck it, I'm just not gonna go, because I'm not even going for my own reasons. I'm going because my parents wanted me to go. My heart didn't want to go. So ditching 3 classes in college made me feel like I was not a good enough son. Made me feel like I was not a good enough person. Like, you know, all the other Asian kids are all smart and I'm like that one dumb Asian kid who, you know, like, I wanted to make my parents proud, but like, I just fucking suck at it. And so I failed biology 1 in college 3 times. And my GPA was like a 2 point something. And I had like I had financial aid that got, you know. Anyways, all of this added up, and then I found Ecstasy, the happiness pill. Overworking, heartbroken, lack of self-time, lack of emotional support, lack of goals and confidence. I didn't know what I want to do with my life, feeling not good enough and consistently failing, like just failing. When I found ecstasy, I experienced euphoria for the first time. Like imagine your life just feeling like shit, okay? Everything about your life is shitty. Or you think that. I thought that it was that way. And then I take this thing called ecstasy. When I took it, it gave me from like shit to like euphoria. So there was just this peak of euphoria. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is happiness pill. My life is feeling like shit. This pill will take me higher. Instead of facing my shitty life, I'm gonna just go higher with the pill. And so I was still having a job at this time, but each week I would do more. Like the first week I did like that one pill. And then the next week I was like, oh, this is good shit. So I doubled the dosage every other day. So I mean every week I would double the dosage. So it was one pill that one week. Next week I was like, I need more happiness. So I started doing 2 pills, and then I would take a day break. And then I would go to work the next day, go to work all day. After I'm done with work, I would go do drugs next day. Take a 1-day break, because you know you can't like it. You need to recover for you to have a better effect. So from 2, second week became 2. Third week I got to 4. 5th week I'm up to 6 every other day. And to me, I didn't see the numbers. I was just happiness pill. Like it just brought me happiness. So I'm fucking like, cause when your tolerance rises, you need more pills. So at this time, I'm addicted already. Like I'm clearly addicted, but I didn't even see it that way. I was just seeing myself as like, fuck yeah, drugs. Like this is happiness pill. I quit my job because I quit my job so that I can spend more time doing drugs. So with like, I had $2,000 saved up, and you know, just kind of on the side, I didn't even know what to do with my money because I was working so much that I didn't have time to spend the money. And so what happens, I quit my job to do drugs. So the number went to 8, 8, 8, 10, you know? And then this is the max, like 12. And why did I do, like, and this time I just disconnected from my family. I disconnected from my close friends. I disconnected from the girl I talked to. I was like so sad all the time that I'm just like, I'm driving to work and I'm crying. And I don't even know why I'm fucking crying, you know? I'm listening to Alicia Keys and I'm like, oh, this emotional part of me that it's numb. And let's just get to the overdose, okay? I did 12 in 2 days, like, cause every experience is like I would sleep like only 1 or 2 hours. I overdose and I get into this trance. Right? At first I didn't realize where I was at all, cause when you do that much drugs, first of all, if you do that much drugs, you're dehydrated. And my whole mouth was full of cold sores because when you do a lot of pills, it drains all the water out of you. And where I was, they ran out of water because it's not a clinic, it's just a house that ran out of water. And I was numb and I slipped into a trance. And I felt like my soul, my soul letting go. This is before I even believe in a soul or the spirit. I start going into like the darkest place. This is like the darkest place of my life that I've been to. I'm on like 12 pills. I'm laying there. I start apologizing to my mom and dad spiritually. because I felt like I was dying. So I'm like, Mom and Dad, I apologize, I'm sorry if I die in this shameful way. This is the best that I can do. And I'm sorry if I, made you not proud. And I was so numb that I couldn't even be sad. I was just kind of feeling not good enough, which is like a consistent theme in my life, that I just wasn't good enough. And then I started apologizing to my great-grandmother who's passed away. So this is my first time communicating with something like not of this world, like, because I'm so numb and vulnerable that I don't give a fuck anymore. I started apologizing to my great-grandma. Great-grandma, I'm sorry if I let you down in this shameful way of doing drugs. And this is the best that I know how to do. And if I die like this, I hope you don't feel shameful of me. And so I go into this trance of just numbness, because when you're on 10 pills, you're not here. You're not on planet Earth. You're in another dimension. And what happened was, the girl that broke my heart, I actually have never met her. It was a long distance relationship. She just wanted me to say I love you, but I didn't know how. I wasn't taught to use those words. From out of nowhere, the thought of Thanet, you haven't met this girl yet. You haven't met this girl yet. You're not. And then I go, like, my higher self said, Thanet, you haven't met her yet. And then I'm like, you know what? That's right, I haven't met. Then I was like, shit, I still have one reason to live, was to meet this girl who broke my heart. Even though I still haven't met her in person yet. And this was the first time that I said yes to my life. I'm laying there all fucking numbed. Start thinking like, shit, I haven't met her yet. But that heartbreak turned into hope. Just that little hope of wanting to see a girl saved my life. Because at that time, if I didn't have that thought, I would have just let go, because I was ready to let go. And I took a deep breath. And I was like, I'm not ready to die yet, I told myself, because I haven't met this girl yet. And I'm kind of like in this numb state, and I got out of that dimension, because that girl was in this human dimension, not in like fucking ecstasy land. And I go to the restroom, and I fucking look at myself. I'm like I have no color, like I'm purple, because my blood's not circulating. I've been doing drugs for a couple of days, and I look at myself in the mirror, and I start to smile at myself, and I go, you are fucked up. Like, the shit that I do with myself sometimes, like, it kind of, like, I never stop believing in myself. And I look at my mouth, and I look at all the cold sores, and I'm like, holy shit, you're fucked up. Then I went online to look at my phone. I look at my phone to go online to see what are the signs of overdosing. And I was like, oh shit, I hit all the criteria of overdosing. But I'm still alive, says me. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm overdosed, but I'm still alive. So let's just get how I survive. I just said yes to my fucking life. I said yes to my life for the first time when I didn't give a shit about my life at all in the past. Like I spiral, I quit my job to do drugs because I didn't give a shit. And that wasn't the last time I had an issue. But how I survived, it took me a week to recover from that drug overdose. Like my heart would not stop hurting because my heart was working so hard to pump my blood that wasn't circulating well. And I had to sleep over at a family friend's house because I was so shameful to even go home. And I just needed food or whatever, and 1 week till my heart stopped hurting because it would just pumping hard. So, and the reason why I even quit, honestly, because I ran out of money. I ran out of money to do drugs. The $2,000 that I had left, all of it was gone to drugs and church's chicken. That's all I ate. Church's chicken, drugs. Church's chickens, drugs. When you run out of money, I just sheltered in my room for months. Like once I ran out, I just sheltered in my room playing video games for months. I didn't even go anywhere. I didn't talk to anybody. I was so shameful because I just felt like that. I just felt so shameful of me doing drugs and me. I didn't want anyone to know. And so it happened again. During Halloween, I had a panic attack. I did 8 pills in 2 days, then drink water again and drink alcohol. And I was laying in bed trying to sleep. I'm laying in bed for 8 hours and I can't sleep. So my mind starts thinking. And I'm in like my friend's house where the drug was. But this was the past and I forgive everybody already. But I'm laying in bed for 8 hours. At first I was like, okay, 2 hours. Okay, it's okay because you're on drugs. 4 hours. Okay. I know I'll go to sleep. 6 hours goes by. I start to think, holy shit, I can't sleep. I need to call the ambulance. And then I start having the panic attack at about 8 hours. But luckily, the people around me gave me weed and gave me half of the bar, which cut my heart rate and allowed me to sleep. And that was the last time I did chronic drugging. How did I survive all of this? Is what honestly, I'm meant to be here. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to leave planet Earth, but it wasn't time. I was trying to, because I just was spiraling in not good enoughness, and I just felt like a fucking failure so much that I didn't want to be here. But somehow I'm freaking still here, and I get why now. When I look at my life today, I get why I'm still here. And whenever I hear somebody's suicide, they shows like they were meant to leave. Because if they were meant to be here, they would have. But now I do my best to make sure to spread love. I do my best to spread the light because I know that I didn't always want it to be here. And that when I finally start being grateful for my life, because I almost lost it. I wasn't fucking grateful for the life that I have right now. I was just so focused on my shit. I was so focused on my lacks, all the lacks that I had, that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough. I was just failing all the time. I didn't have enough self-time. I was looking at that part instead of looking at all the amazing things I have already, that at least I have parents who do give a shit. Parents who still let me stay with them. At least I have air to breathe. And I wasn't grateful for any of that. I was just spiraling into negativity so much that I literally hit my breaking point, and I didn't break. I climbed back out of my hole of darkness and found this magnificent life. And so if you know somebody who's going through some shit, do your best to support them, because they may be going through hell, and your smile makes a difference. Your texting can make a difference. Your positivity can make a difference. Your gentleness can make a difference, so that they don't have to go through drug abuse and not good enoughness like me. So that people who fail aren't so hard on themselves. And because I failed so much, I didn't feel worthy of being on planet Earth. And this video is in tribute to all of my brothers and sisters who have survived and not survived through drug abuse, alcohol abuse, suicide, sexual abuse. Because this life is not the most easy life. And if we don't give up, we can find out how amazing life is. Anyways, peace and blessings. I hope you learn about what I experienced, and to realize that the mindset of not good enough and suffering can be so destructive, and that whenever we put pressures on our kids and ourselves to be good enough, to succeed, we may be doing the worst for them. And if you want to talk to me about anything, just send me a message. I'm here for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.